So every once in a while, I find a YouTube video that really resonates with me. Sometimes it's a music video. Sometimes it's a hobby YouTube channel.
Hello, I'm Teha, and today we're going to take a look at this, the GMMK Pro.
And sometimes it's an educational video. One of those YouTubers is Veritasium. You've probably seen one of his thumbnails. It's maybe the one with a whole bunch of black balls inside the reservoir, or maybe the one about how he got his YouTube channel to be viral. Maybe it was the one where he literally waterproofed himself with aerogel. But it wasn't really until the other day that I watched a lot of his video. And I mean a lot. I binged his stuff. And then I stumbled upon this video.
For most of us, thinking is at least somewhat unpleasant. We try to avoid it where possible. For example, I asked these guys, how long does it take for the Earth to go around the sun?
What do you reckon, cuz?
Is it 24 hours?
Obviously a day, yes.
Essentially, the video just goes about the thinking of thinking, and that is really an important part of learning in general. This idea of thinking about your thinking. That's called metacognition. Now, have you ever done that before, where you thought about your thinking? Where maybe it's like, why did I have that thought in my head? Or why am I better at learning about this while I'm writing it than when I'm doing this while watching it? Maybe the vice versa. When I was first learning how to be a teacher, they really pushed this idea of metacognition, where it's important to know, again, how students think about their learning. And one of the models that we learned about was the Varch model. The Varch model essentially says that there are 4 types of learners: visual, auditory, reading and writing, and kinesthetic. Visual learners are the ones that learn the best by seeing and observing things. Reading and writing learners, also known as verbal learners, really need to speak and write their information to really internalize it and to learn it. Physical or kinesthetic learners really need to manipulate things with their hands and use the things that they're learning about to really, really understand what it is and how it works. Now, since when I learned about Varch, there are actually 3 more types of learners that they've added to the list. They are the social, the logical, and the solitary. As you can probably guess, the social learner needs collaboration and working with peers to really understand information. The logical learner really thrives on reasoning and logic, and usually numbers, to understand what they're learning about. And lastly, the solitary learner. These are usually the type that find information on their own and learn about it on their own at their own pace without any outside help. Now, just by watching Veritasium's video about thinking, you're actually already engaging in metacognition because you're learning about how you think. So you should be thinking about your thinking. There's another YouTube video that I'm going to have you watch. It presents information in a very unique way, and it's really stuck with me throughout the years. But first, let me ask you, do you procrastinate? Now listen, everybody procrastinates, right? Students especially just get the short end of the stick because they're the ones that have concrete deadlines every single day. But adults procrastinate just as often. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times where I've told myself, yeah, I'll do the dishes tomorrow morning, only to regret my decision from the previous night, get up half an hour earlier than I wanted to, and then proceed to wash the dishes at 5:30 in the morning. Though that ace in that Valorant match was definitely worth it. The YouTube video that I'm talking about is a TED Talk by Tim Urban, and he talks about, again, the way that our brains work. He specifically talks about procrastination and how there is a monkey in our brain. Now, I'm not going to give away too much, but the way he describes it is very, again, unique, and it makes sense when he describes it the way he does. And just by knowing the process of procrastination in your head, you're engaging again in that metacognition, thinking about your thinking. First, you'll watch the video on Edpuzzle answering questions about what you just saw. Afterwards, I will ask you to fill out a Google Doc with very pointed questions about what you saw, what you thought about, and what your feelings are about a certain topic. Then I'll ask you to compile all that information into an essay form and write about it, where I'll grade you on your ideas, how you'll use metacognition, and in general, how well you portray your ideas in that essay. Remember, the better you do in the first half of the written part, the easier the second half will be. Now, all of these assignments are meant to be done in class, meaning that you shouldn't be spending extra time outside of the classroom to work on these things. I know some of you overachievers out there are thinking about doing all the stuff all together at once. Don't do that. Here's the reason why. When we learn new things, we need time to process that information. Think of it as like a basket of fruit, where you can put new pieces of fruit into that basket, but at some point, that fruit basket is going to just overflow and not be able to hold any more fruit. And you can do one of two things. You can either eat the fruit and process the ideas, or you replace the old fruit with new fruit and not really do anything and let it rot inside the fruit basket. Remember, you can only fit so much into that fruit basket before, it needs to get thrown out. So, process it. I recommend doing the entirety of the first video first, watching the video, filling out the questions and the essay before you move on to the second one. But that's just my recommendation. So I just want to say thank you for watching this video. I needed a way to get my creative juices flowing, and this is one of the things I really like to do. I like to be creative with video. If you remember the 6th grade rally videos that I did, they were definitely not normal. I mean, one of them was a rap that I, performed in front of the entire 6th grade class.
We're here learning about our instruments.
The other one was a interview between instruments where I looked like a crazy person.
Not right. Yes, that's right.
But I really like this process. Writing a script, filming things, and in general just being able to be creative about the way I present information. I've thought a lot about how people make YouTube videos, from all the YouTube videos that I watch online to listening to podcasts about people talking about YouTube videos. In a way, I'm engaging in meta YouTubeism. Is that a thing? So I hope the information that you learn about within these 2 videos really sticks with you, not just outside of the assignment, but maybe throughout the end of this year. And maybe, sorry, there was a car going by. And maybe all the way to the end of middle school, and maybe all the way to the end of high school, and maybe into college, and maybe then I'll have really taught you something. Not to say that I don't teach you things, I just